right. Are we ready to begin? Lovely. And how's our mic doing? Well, fabulous. Well, in that case, hello, folks. Welcome to the First UU Church of Indiana, Pennsylvania. I'm going to ask that our online participants mute their microphones. Our in-person participants can also mute their microphones. And we will have a chance to chat some more during coffee hour. But for now, please go ahead and rise in body, voice, and spirit, and join me in singing our opening hymn. It's number 188 in your gray hymnal, or words will be on the screen. Come, come, whoever you are. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Indiana, Pennsylvania. I'm the Reverend Elizabeth Mount, and I am the minister here at First UU. Welcome to our visitors, to friends, to members who have been here a long time. I am so glad to have a multi-platform worship experience. We have people joining us online, people here in person. So on behalf of the entire congregation, welcome. If you're here for the first time and you have not already, please do take a moment to fill out our blue visitors card. You'll find one in your hymnal or in the entryway, and that helps us to make sure you receive information about church programs. And if you're interested in joining us and you're online, you can send an email to office@firstuu-indianapa.com, and you can get signed up that way as well. On Zoom, please do note the chat button in the middle below the video screen. We use that feature for greetings, chalice lightings, and for joys and concerns during the service. We'd love to have you participate with us in that way. The First UU Church of Indiana, Pennsylvania is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association. So we are all self-governing congregations, united in a web of mutuality that creates the denomination. We have no creed or doctrine. Instead, we teach that individuals have both the right and the responsibility to discern and follow their own spiritual paths. We come together to support and assist each other on our journeys and to build our beloved community together. I invite you to stay after the service as well to greet one another and rejoice in our mutual presence. We'll open up the microphones on Zoom for coffee hour there. If you're in person, feel welcome to greet each other as well as those joining us electronically in the back at that time. And you may have noticed we are in progress on our fan system for the church. increasing our airflow, minimizing COVID spread and transmissibility in the building. We have also received a pledge for $2 in matching funds for every dollar given by a member or friend of this church. So with $300 pledged under that matching, we are at $900 thus far. And we are excited that that is happening. Many thanks to those who have already donated, and an advance thank you to those who I'm sure will be donating in the coming weeks. You can talk to Eric Barker to make your pledge. Our teens will begin their Bible study for UUs today at noon. A couple of our adults have already contacted me asking if they could be part of Bible study. As you are not teens, you cannot be part of this Bible study, but you can be part of Bible study. I need 6 committed participants in order to run an adult version of this class. So just let me know after the service if UU Bible Boot Camp is something that you would want to be a part of. We'll get a UU perspective on Scripture. And then finally, we will have an opportunity to gather in meditation and prayer for peace in Ukraine today at 2 p.m. So if you would like to join in that, come to the sanctuary to be in prayer with others, or light a candle in your own home, knowing that you are part of a wider movement, hoping for peace and sending solidarity and shared energy at that time. If you need resources for financial and practical support in Ukraine, check our newsletter for more information as well. And now, I invite you to take a breath and settle yourself in readiness for worship. Come, come whoever you are. Do you hear that voice calling you, calling us? That voice which calls us together here today in this room, made holy by our presence and by the sacred breath shared in singing and speaking and silence. That voice which calls us to remember that we are not alone, that we are inextricably linked to all other life, woven into a vast tapestry of existence, of which we are a powerful, integral, holy part. And just as we have been called together here today, we act as the voice, the heart, the hands of another call, the call to join wanderers on their path, to sing and dance with worshipers, to proclaim the memory of those who have taken their leave, to wrap the despairing and the broken in the arms of love and of community, to hold the hands of all who have broken their vows and call us back again and again to covenant, to the work of justice and humility and steadfast faithfulness. For this, we are here together today. So my friends, come yet again. Come and let us worship together. And now, we light our chalice flame. On Zoom, you may type "the flame is lit" and say where you are joining us from in the chat bar. failed to prepare a space for lighting the chalice. There we go. Let us join in unison. The soul collects wood and does all it can itself, yet cannot find the spark alone. How great is the love the divine has revealed to us, which kindles fire in the human spirit.
The second hymn for today, if you want to, the second hymn for today is, you don't have the music for it, you just have the words. So I'm going to teach it to you. It's in 3 parts, and you can sing whichever part that you like. So the top part is probably the easiest, so I'll sing it and then you can sing it back to me. What does the Lord require of you? What does the Lord require of you? You can try it. What does the Lord require of you? What does the Lord require of you? Do it again. What does the Lord require of you? What does the Lord require of you? Good. The second part is slower, and that's the justice, kindness, walk humbly with your God part. So that goes like this. Justice, kindness, walk humbly with your God. So let's try that. Justice, kindness, walk humbly with your God again. Justice, kindness, walk humbly with your God. Do you remember the first part? No? Okay. Let's all try the first part again, and then maybe we can add the second part with it. So let's have this side do the first part, and this side will do the second part. So you're doing, what does the... All right, we'll put you first, and then we'll bring you in. 1, ready, go. What does the Lord require of you? What does the Lord require of you? What does the just kindness walk humbly with your God? Justice, kindness, walk humbly with your God. To seek justice and love kindness and walk humbly with your God. To seek justice and love kindness and walk humbly with your God. Justice, kindness, walk humbly with your God. Very nice, thank you.
Of Micah, and they're a call to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God. And now Penny is going to share with us the story of a Universalist preacher who did some of that. So there must be something there that is worthy and good. So now, let us recall our values and read our Unitarian Universalist principles together. You'll find them in your order of service or in the front of your gray hymnal. We covenant to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, acceptance of one another, and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, the right of conscience, and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, and respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part. Thank you. We now offer a time of silence in which you are invited to come forward to light a candle of intention to represent a joy or sorrow or concern or a celebration in your life, or to place a stone. If you have not already done so, you are welcome to hand a written joy or sorrow to me as you do so. So let us join hearts and minds in a spirit of prayer. Spirit of life and of love, we are gathered in community where we share our joys, our sorrows, our fears and hopes, all these milestones of our living. Today, we share gratitude and joy. Faye Bradwick and Don Lancaster have been together 20 years since their first date and married for 15. Let us be together in their celebration. Congrats. And Faye is also pleased to share the joy of improved vision after 2 cataract eye surgeries. And Jess offers thanks for New Vrindavan in West Virginia, where she and Oliver and Lucy had a weekend retreat and learned about the Bhagavad Gita. She says it is nice to see kids learning about many spiritual paths. Today, we offer prayers for peace in Ukraine. We hope that people will find hope, even in the midst of fear, love, and care, in places where hardship surrounds. May people there see the humanity in one another, and may they offer to one another peace and goodwill, even when it takes great courage. Let us offer our thanks for the sun, the warmth of the changing seasons. For the blessings of our lives, may we be truly grateful. And in times of fragile hearts and tender sorrows, may we give thanks for the flowing gift of life and find comfort and strength with one another. May our hearts be healed, and may we be filled with peace. Amen, and blessed be. We now come to the time when we share the plate each Sunday by giving a portion of our week's donations to an organization beyond our walls. This is part of our congregation's mission to promote compassionate and responsible thought and action in the world. When you give this morning, you are making an impact not only for this congregation, but also in the wider community. This month, our giving benefits the Care Center of Indiana County, which began providing services in the 1970s in Indiana under the name Parents Anonymous. From the start, they have been a child abuse prevention agency which offers advocacy, parent support, and education at the forefront of their work. Today, CARE stands for Child Advocacy and Relationship Enhancing, and symbolizes care for the child, the parents, and the needs of the whole family. The child is always the center of their services, as staff members work to enhance relationships between parents and children. As a congregation who has said often that our greatest justice work is the nurturing of children into compassionate and responsible adults, we are glad to give within and beyond our walls to support families in building a better world. So please give generously as you are able, as we share in singing our offertory hymn, which today is Blessed Be the Gifts. There's an insert in your gray hymnal, or you'll find words on your screen. work of this church, we gratefully receive our morning's offering. What is required of you? The prophet Micah, who centers our worship this morning, comes from the Jewish tradition, the Nevi'im, also known as the prophets, from what the Christian tradition calls the Old Testament. He was a man seeking to tell people how they should live. The prophets in the Jewish tradition recall the tribes of Israel again and again to the centering points of their religion, reminding them of what is not done, what should be done, and what shall be a way forward. He's considered one of the 12 minor prophets of the Hebrew Bible, a contemporary of Isaiah and Amos and Hosea, prophesying during the reigns of the kings Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. Y'all have your notebooks out, right? Because we're going to have a test, and if you can't spell Hezekiah, there will be points off. I'm mostly kidding. But in that Jewish tradition, the prophets were not nice. They were kind. The prophets were the people that helped one another to be accountable to the whole and holy truth. So they didn't fuss around with, when you do that, when you put that bottle in the trash instead of the recycling, it's maybe not the best idea. These folks, they were like, oh no, you are destroying the planet. You, Israelites, are going to be the destruction of all you hold dear. You should know that if you do not mend your ways, there will be trouble in this life and in the world to come. The future belongs to you, and you are blowing it. Just so you know. The prophets were not gentle or nice. But what they were doing was bringing people back to center. That's what we do here as well, even today. We are pastoral, offering gentleness when people need comfort, but also prophetic, offering reminders of what it means to be responsible for one another when we need that. And at core, if we remember those verses that we just read from Micah, what Micah was saying, what does the Lord require of you? People of Israel, have you forgotten all that has been done for you? People today, have you forgotten how much you have? How many good things there are in the world? This was Micah's reminder. You have shelter. You have food. You have children in religious exploration who have clothing and education and all manner of good things. This is a blessing. And the Israelites called back, what shall we do in response to that blessing? Should we slaughter herds of cattle? Should we pour out gallons and rivers of oil as thanks? No. What is required, said Micah, all that is required of you. And it's not all, because it's more. It is more than herds of cattle, more than rivers of oil. What is required is to do justice, to be mindful in your life of whether what you are doing is creating a better world that is more fair for all those around you. To love mercy, to be compassionate even when it is easy to judge, even when it is easy to be small, and to care, to tend for your own to the exclusion of others, to be unforgiving, perhaps out of protectiveness, and to walk humbly with your God, to know that there is miracle and magic in the world around you, to know that this world is worthy of your attention and your protection, however you name the divine, however you understand that magic, that it is worthy of your attention, even in all the bustle of everything going on. In our own liturgy, we try to create that space, if only for an hour each Sunday, that call to return to center, because so much of church life, even for me as a minister, I know all of you think I just sit in my office and read poetry all day, every day. That is what you're paying me for, right? It's totally what's happening. No, what church life is, what all life is, many days of the week, is thinking about the minutia. Who makes the coffee? Did someone buy the grounds this week? Do we have the Zoom room set up? Are the microphones working today? Did we put in another battery? Did the checks get deposited? Do we have new checks that need to go in the safe? Who's doing that? But the point of church isn't to earn money, isn't to create a performance. As much as many of us love our caffeine, the point of church is not to offer you a hot drink every Sunday, not even to gather in community with our coffee each Sunday. The center of the church, as we know, is in our values. In that core call, our 7 principles, and our own church's mission, that we inspire one another to care and act. As Micah was saying to his own Jewish brethren, it's important to remember that what draws us together as a people is the inspiration we give one another. The ways that those stories, the music we hear on a Sunday, call us back to ourselves and remind us of why it is worth doing what we do as people of faith in the rest of the week. That we're not just here to get through the days, but to make our days meaningful, to uphold our values, to be courageous, and to build the beloved community. We, as Unitarian Universalists and the Jewish people of history, we're not doing it for salvation in the next life. We're doing it because we can save one another in this one. We can make this a world where people want to live, where people thrive, where people live good lives all around us. So that is the call. That's why we light candles. It's why we say prayers. To make our burdens a little less unbearable, to make our joys a little greater in shared celebration. We form communities where children can play and learn, where elders can speak honestly of their hopes and fears, where parents find people of similar mind who they can trust to share their wonderings and their vulnerability about how to live, what to say to children who are far too familiar with fear and hatred in the world. This congregation, our church, Unitarian Universalism, just as the prophets of old said, we tell each other now, this is the place where we come back to be inspired, to build our caring and compassion, so that we may act all the days of our lives for justice and mercy, and be humble in the face of all that is wondrous and divine. May it be so. Our closing words. Images of flowing water often accompany words about the divine, reminding us of the flow and the ever-changing nature of the universe. Water is life. The river banks set a course, changing one another in form as they move through the world, from mountaintop to ocean's breadth, lifted in clouds, soaking deep underground. Water, like the Holy Spirit, permeates everything, fills all containers, takes its shape from those needing to be filled. So trust the flow, and let yourself unfurl your leaves and blossom like the seeds and trees which awaken in the springtime and drink deep. And our closing hymn is hymn number 115, God of Grace and God of Glory. It's in your gray hymnal or on the screen. We'll sing verses 1, 3, and 4. Together, our words to extinguish our chalice flame. We extinguish this chalice flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. As we go forth into the world through a door of hope for the future, we remember words by Martin Luther. Even if I knew that tomorrow the world would go to pieces, I would still plant my apple tree. So may it be with us. Blessed be.